What up, guys? GangstaPranksta back with some more WWE 2K16, the 2K showcase of Austin 316, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Welcome back. It's been an interesting week in pro wrestling. A lot of interesting news came up. We're going to talk about it all. You guys left some comments. We're going to talk about those. And yeah, lots of stuff to talk about. Don't worry about that. We're going to start off with this bonus match. Yeah, we're gonna do it. Fuck it. We're gonna go to WCW in 1994. I think this was before. It had to be before Hogan came, right? Because I don't think Steamboat was with. I don't know. I don't know that far. I don't know much WCW history, and I'm fine with that. I don't know. I never really cared for WCW. Not really like some of the guys, but yeah. So yeah, anyways, forget, we'll play the match, whatever. But lots of interesting stuff happened this week. Some releases, some big news regarding the future of WWE, what's going to go on. Of course, I'm talking about the draft. So we're going to talk about the draft later. Not later, but like, we'll talk about the releases first. Because I feel I have less to say and a lot more to say about the whole draft thing, so we'll touch on that later. So first off, the releases. Someone said that I didn't mention Wade Barrett. I thought I did, but Wade Barrett was also one of those 8. I guess he'd be the 9th. No, he's part of the 8 people that were released the other week. We'll talk about him in a second. So Wade got released, even though that's not really recent news, but whatever. I forgot to mention it apparently. I thought I mentioned it, but I guess not. So Wade Barrett, Adam Rose has been released. That's not really shocker. The only thing shocking is like he asked for his release. Well, I guess that wouldn't even be shocking because would you really want to go back to work after all that shit happened, like regarding you? I don't know. Probably not. He was probably going to get released anyway, so the fact that he asked for his release was no big deal. So Adam Rose gone. And then probably the biggest surprise, Cody Rhodes, Stardust, is gone from WWE. That, when I read that, I was like, what? But, you know, we'll talk more about that in a second. And then his wife, Eden, who's a backstage announcer, also left. That's not as big of a deal. She was a decent little announcer, but I feel like they got a ton of announcers, so I don't think that's that big of a deal. So we'll talk about these releases from biggest to littlest, or littlest to biggest. So first one, I'd say Adam Rose. Like I said, not that much of a surprise, especially with the suspension, then the domestic abuse, whatever happened with that. And, you know, he was probably just going to get released eventually. And, you know, I look a lot. This Austin looks a lot like Ted DiBiase. Holy shit. But, I just, like, it's fucking uncanny. Because it's funny because he becomes the $1 million. I don't remember what his role is, but he becomes some $1 million or something. Okay, so Adam Rose, not that shocking of a release. Will that affect WWE greatly? I don't think so. I never really cared for Adam Rose too much. I was more of a Leo Kruger kind of guy. Yeah, he got lost in the shuffle pretty quickly, and that was a shame. There was a whole bunny thing. I stopped watching before that all happened. But yeah, there's that. So his whole WWE run was kind of just meh at most. But that was pretty quick. But I don't know. I would have liked to see him as Leo Kruger, but Adam Rose was whatever. You know, recently he was doing stuff with the Social Outcasts. That they weren't doing much of anything. I'm glad they all got put in a group, because I think they were better off in a group than they were as singles competitors, which I didn't mind. More factions, the better. I like factions and tag teams. And it's basically like 2 tag teams in one. So, there was that. He never really much had a role in that group, it feels like. It seemed like it was like Heath is like the main guy, and then Bo would be like a close second. He would be like the, I don't know, he didn't really wrestle many of those matches. So it didn't even matter him being part of the group, really. But, yeah, whatever. Adam Rose, he's gone. Will we see him in the future? I don't know. Possibly in TNA. Possibly on the Indies somewhere. We'll have to wait to see. Next biggest release, Wade Barrett. That one wasn't shocking because you heard all the rumors, like he wanted to leave. It kind of sucked, like the fact that him and Cody left makes me think that this whole draft thing wasn't really like it was very last minute. Otherwise, I think they would have kept. They would have like made an incentive for like Cody and Barrett to be like, hey, we're gonna do this draft. We haven't been doing much with you lately, but once this draft, hold on, I fucked up. No, oh my god, that was close. We're not doing much with you now, but once this draft comes, you guys will be more of a priority because each brand will have a limited roster, so you're obviously gonna have a big role wherever you go. So. I don't know. I would have liked to see them stick around for the draft, but at the same time, if they weren't happy, that's fine. Just leave. Barrett, if the escape the sleeper hole. Oh god, I'm gonna have to escape a fucking submission. What was I gonna say? Oh. Wade Barrett always seemed like he was going to be a pretty big star if they didn't if the draft was still a thing and SmackDown had its roster and Raw had its roster, then he seems like he would have gotten a pretty big push, like eventually be a world champion or something. And fuck! I hate that fucking submission bar so much. I think it's so dumb. Mainly because, I don't know. I'm not a fan of it. I'm not used to it. Should we try again? Fuck. Yeah, sure. We'll give it one more try. So, yeah, if Wade Barrett never... Oh my god, I'm like tripping on my words because I want to win this match and I don't want to fuck up again. If the roster never split up into one big roster, I think he would have been a bigger star than he was. Like I said, I always seemed like he might have been a challenger for the world title. Never really was. I don't know if that's good or bad. I'm going to be honest, I didn't really care for Wade Barrett during the whole Nexus thing and a little bit after. I'd say, when did I really start caring about Barrett? I think when he came back from his first injury. And he was like IC champion. I think that's when I was like, oh shit, this guy Barrett, he's pretty decent. But before that, I didn't really care for him. What else? But yeah, I don't know. It kind of sucks that he's gone. Especially now since WWE has a pretty limited roster. That they would want as many guys as they can. I'm going to fucking lose this again. Oh shit. Wait, I didn't escape it. Did I? Oh, no, okay, I did. So yeah, I don't know. I would have liked to seen him part of this draft roster, see where he would have played a big role, especially if they, I guess this will kind of talk about the draft a little bit, the brand split. Like if they have 2 world champions, like one for Raw, one for SmackDown, I think he could possibly be a contender. He would definitely be a contender for like the US title or the IC title, and possibly world title. We'd have to wait to see. So I think that's a pretty big... I don't know if it's a big release. It's not a big release at the time when it happened, because he really wasn't doing much, the whole fucking League of Nations. Is that even the name? I don't even remember. They were pretty forgettable. They were put together it just because they had nothing for the guys. So that was kind of whatever. So yeah, I don't know. Not as big a release. Well, it was because it's limited roster, but I don't know. He was kind of injury prone because for a while he like got injured a bunch of times. It sucked. His WWE run can be summed up like this: fucking injuries fucked him because every time it seemed like he was on a good trajectory, he got hurt, which sucked a lot for him. I couldn't even imagine. But yeah, like he was having a pretty good run as the IC champion. Got fucking someone did a dive on him and popped his shoulder. And hold on, what the fuck is Austin's finisher? I don't even know. Hold on. Does it tell me here? It does not. Okay. Cool. But yeah, poor guy, like, a string of injuries completely, like, fucked his momentum. And, yeah, and then when he became, like, King Barrett, they really never did anything with that, so that was just kind of wasted potential. And, yeah, so, injuries really fucked him. What else? And then the biggest one was probably Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes, very shocking, you know, especially... Hold on. I think his finisher is the forearm from the top rope. I'm not sure. But Cody was a bit shocking because the whole Dusty Rhodes thing, like, it seemed like he had a job forever once his dad died. And, you know, I would have liked to seen him be Cody after Dusty passed away. But they wanted him to stay Stardust or something like that. Which, I don't know. I never really watched much of the Stardust character because that's kind of when I stopped watching. Like, right when he debuted is like a few weeks after I stopped watching. So I watched almost nothing of Stardust. So I don't know much about his run. People liked it at first. I don't know too much about after. But I know he was teaming with the Ascension. They were called something Wasteland. And, I like that. That seemed like, you know, they're not doing with both of those guys, so just throw them together. Oh god, am I fucked? Yes, I am. Oh my god, that's so bullshit. Okay, I don't know my finisher, fuck! But yeah, Cody, holy shit. I would have loved to seen him with this draft roster. I'm surprised they didn't be like, hey Cody, we got this draft coming up. You know, you're going to be a big star. Not big star, but we'll put you back as Cody. You know, you'll go to either Raw or SmackDown. You can have... I don't know. I don't know what you would say to him. But you would definitely say, hey, we're doing the draft. Like... Actually, I can just pin him. I don't even have to hit my finisher. That's not it. I don't know his finisher. Whatever. What was I even talking about? Oh, yeah, so I'd, like, make a plea with Cody, like, oh, you know, draft's coming up, just kind of stick it out for now, and if you're not happy, then leave, you know. But he kind of just asked for his release, and it's pretty interesting. A lot of people asking for the release. Adam Rose, well, that's a whole different situation. But Barrett asked for his release, was granted it. Cody asked for his release, granted it. A lot of people not wanting to work there. What's up with that? I don't know. But goddamn, Austin trying to force a pin.
Know each other extremely well. Look at this guy.
Did this really happen in the match?
Got to go to plan B. As Steamboat bridges up, both men in magnificent condition.
Oh, that's a low blow, ref.
Not a good landing for Austin.
Apparently not. Okay, whatever. So yeah, Cody, I would have made a plea with him because he could be like a decent mid-card, upper mid-card guy, especially if you think about like his run when he was dashing Cody Rhodes. Like he thought like, oh, maybe he could be a world champ eventually if that continued. But I think the brand, what the fuck? I think the brand ended up combining shortly thereafter.
I don't think Austin's
I don't
gonna
know.
get in Steamboat's head.
But I guess we could talk about the draft now. The draft as a whole. I know I got asked a lot about the draft, like what were my thoughts, what were my opinions. I'm pretty 50-50 on it. Like 50% I'm excited, 50% I'm kind of like, ooh, I don't know if this is a good idea. So I'll just kind of talk about what is going through my head when oh god, hold on. I had to break out of this fucking submission. Okay, we're good money. So the brand, what do I like about it? One thing I like about it, it changes things up. I think there's a lot of repetitiveness right now, WWE, and I think changing it up by doing this is a good idea. First off. What else do I like about this? That's, well, another thing I'd like is you're going to see more of the roster. And what I mean by that is, you know, there's some people, like, who's a good example? We'll take Apollo Crews, for example. In a setting like what is going on right now in WWE, where the whole roster is kind of free and everyone appears on every show, he can get lost very easily. But if it's like on the if he's on like a SmackDown, he will. There's no like. He's gonna have to get used, you know. So I like it. I like that. That some guys are gonna be used because they're kind of forced to be used because the roster's so limited. So I like that. I like that they're constantly, like, everyone's gonna have a spot. I like that.